So let's get started. I hope all of you can hear me, and it's really great to see everyone that to join us in this webinar. Then we're also glad to see that the Malaysia cases have come down tremendously as well. It's still in this 1,500 mark, and we hope the cases will be coming down like even further. So we got to still practice our SOP. And my name is Michelle from STAAH, and will be your moderator. And also thank you for all the speakers that joining us today. So the hospitality industry, not only in Malaysia, but it's also worldwide is being affected. And this is what I use 4-letter words to describe it: SARS. So we need to survive, we need to be agile, we need to be resilient, and we need to be sustained. So today we talk about revitalizing your revenue management and distribution strategy. So in this current situation, how can we improve our occupancy, and how we can drive more bookings, and then eventually and ultimately, of course, that how can we also survive in this difficult situation. All right, so let me go through our speakers. So today we have our these speakers Yang Berbahagia Tato Dr. Akma, and he is the senior director for the domestic and event divisions, and I believe that some of you know him very well as well. So he has been in the market for 33 years in the tourism Malaysia, and he also worked in that Osaka, Moscow, and then tourist office as well. He's also heading a different committee for a different campaign, and also an advisor for a different associations, and then the university as well. So our next speaker, Mr. Yap Lip Singh, and he is the Chief Executive Officer for Malaysia Hotel Association, and he has been in the market for 20 years. When you look at all the experiences that every speakers they have, it's more than 150 plus years of experiences of all these veterans here. All right, so he is also the industry advisor for a different university, and then different council as well. And we have also Dr. Sri Ganesh, and he is the National Deputy President for MyBHA, Malaysia Budget Hotel Association. He's been also in the budget hotel industry for 12 years. And then he is also the Group Managing Director of the BIS Group too. So our next speaker, and Miss Sandy Wee, she is the Regional Director in the Sales for Ideas, and she's responsible for growing and helping the hotel partners and different clients maximizing the revenues and the different opportunities. So prior to that, she was also working in a different hotel groups in the sales position as well. And the last one, that will be Mr. Aaron Tan, and he is the Group Director of Sales and Marketing for Royal Chulan Hotels and Resorts. So he has been also in the market for 25 years as well, and he is also holding in a different positions in the different group of the properties. All right, so now if you have other friends that not able to join, not to worry about it, because the webinar will also be shared to all your friends as well. And after the webinar, we will be going through a different Q&A session. So during the session, you may type your question in the chat box, and I have my colleagues in the room also be taking down all your questions respectively as well. So there may be times that we are not able to answer your questions, not to worry as well. So we will email you our answers too. All right. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping rule. We really appreciate that all the participants to mute yourself, and definitely we will enjoy the webinar so that all other our friends also will be able to enjoy the webinar as well. Okay. All right, and let's get started about like. So we have the speaker. Like I would like to ask Tato Ama, like in the room here we have all our hotel partners, friends, you know. So they always want to know what are the activities that the Tourism Malaysia has done and will be able to help them during this challenging time. So would you be able to share with us how will the Tourism Malaysia plan to do and assist the hospitality industry in this year 2021, and what can they do? Tato?
Thank you very much, Michelle. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. I think if I were to answer to the question, first of all, we are now having the stimulus package program with the hotels that goes to the MyBHA as well as the MyBHA members as well. I think this can be confirmed by Mr. Yap and also Dr. Sri. For that, we are doing the stimulus packages of which that has been done accordingly, and the response to this was a good response. That is one of the measures taken by us in order to help the hotelier. And besides that, we have introduced also the civil servant packages. Okay, that has been launched for Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, and the series of that launching of those packages also will be done at Johor Bahru, Penang, Pahang, Sabah, and Sarawak. So that will be done as well in order to help the hotelier, of which various packages that is meant for the civil servant are designed to make sure or to enhance or stimulus to stimulate their desire to travel with all the offers given. I think these are among the things that we have taken in action to help the hotelier. So basically, the pipeline, there will be another series of stimulus packages, of which that we hope we can do it better, with the help of the association and also with the help of the public. So there are the two things: the stimulus packages, the packages for the civil servant, and of course we are looking very much now because we are recommending to all the government ministry.
Yes, we are on now. We are ongoing. Yeah.
To do their conferences and activities at the hotels. I think we have started that. If you were to look, even a hotel in KL now or in certain places, a lot of activities being carried out now. That include the conferences as well. And definitely we are looking at MICE market very much. That is after the border ban being lifted up later on. Right.
We are really glad to hear all these kind of different initiatives like organized by the Tourism Malaysia, and we also like looking forward like very much to the borders that are going to open. So of course it's like question like when, right? But I believe that we will be able to see the light at the end of the tunnel eventually. Yeah, that's why I always use the 4 words like STAAH, you know, survive, agile, resilient, and then sustain. All right, and Tato also, based on the report from the government, also like dated 28th of the March, right? It's about more than 100,000 people are fully vaccinated, And moving forward, there will be more vaccines going on, and then more people will also be vaccinated as well. And believing that travel industry will be revived better form in year 2022. So what are the collective strategies from the Tourism Malaysia to revive our foreign arrivals, and encourage them, like not just only to travel to different destinations, but also encourage them like to go local?
Okay. Of course,
Ada formal
preparation that we have when it comes to this particular COVID-19, we have a few stages that in our pipeline to be implemented soon. Number one, definitely, as we all know, that domestic tourism are the most important segment now that we're looking at very much. So in order to encourage more people to travel, we are giving a lot of incentive. We are giving a lot of value-added packages for the customer, particularly the Malaysian, to enjoy. And as I mentioned that to ensure the growth or to ensure the domestic tourism on the right path, it is not only the responsible of Tourism Malaysia, it should be the responsible of all Malaysian. That will include the association and also the Malaysian, because the one that are going to boost the domestic tourism are Malaysian. So I would like to say the same thing. We want to do a campaign that encourage the Malaysian to help the domestic tourism, okay, to be back on their track and to boost the domestic tourism. So it is not only for the Malaysian to go for holiday and enjoy their holiday. They should take that as also as their responsibility or their obligation as Malaysian in helping the industry to grow. So that is another area that we are talking and looking at. And of course, our next stage will be looking at the region for us to start traveling around the region. And definitely talking about the border tourism is very important, and we want that to be lifted up as soon as possible. But I think with the current development, when most of the people are getting vaccinated now, I think that is a good sign for us to move forward and for us to look at the industry to come back and look at the regional so that the cross border can happen among the tourists and other things. That will help us very much, because we look at indication when we just say that you can cross district, that has give a lot of implication of most of the hotels now slowly the occupancy rate becoming higher, and products owner are saying that people are start visiting their places, and definitely if the border of the country is open, we will get more tourists to come. And we also has do our plan with our overseas office in the region for them to come up with a certain campaign, and they are all ready just to execute once the border are open to other country. And the third stage, definitely we are looking at all the long haul market as well for them to come back and to visit Malaysia again once everything is settled.
Yeah, there's always a saying, right? So we got to go from within. All right. So I mean, well said, Dato, that as a Malaysians, we have to take the responsibility as well to help the tourism in Malaysia by traveling within the country. Right, before we are talking about like going out. And I also believe that you have such a fantastic experience also in leading the different like Visit Malaysia campaign. So we are definitely will be going into the right direction. So Malaysians, we got to help ourselves from within before we move forward.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Dato, for your well said answer.
Yeah.
And the next person that I would like to really get the opinion as well, like Mr. Yap. So in the 2020, the tourism receipts dropped like 85.3%. It's equivalent to about 12 billion. So fortunately, I mean, we have the number comes out from the cases, but definitely we will not be able to go back to what is the glory time in the year 2019, perhaps. But looking at this current market situation now, what are the best practices that accommodation providers can implement to generate more bookings and then to improve a different.
Thank you, Michelle.
So Mr. Yap, I hope you can hear me just now. And yeah.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you to Dato Amar as well for his brief earlier. I think we have to look at the current situation as moving forward. Forget about the complaining, forget about the problems that we had last year. But it's important for the industry to be able to plan ahead and formulate strategies that best fit the situation. We've gone through one whole year of ups and downs, and it's time for us to really stabilize and plan ahead. For current situations, however, the industry is solely dependent on domestic market, as also mentioned by Dr. Amar earlier. Hotel products and services needs to be relooked into not only in terms of pricing, but also accessibility and practical needs of the domestic market. I think one key lesson that the industry learned during the pandemic is to diversify, especially for hotels, to diversify from a rooms-dependent business into other opportunities. But the key strategy here goes deeper than that, into human resources management, productivity-based operations, and even to the extent of reinventing the hotel management structure, things that the industry has tried over the year, and they are trying to perfect the operations of the hotels, not only from the front, but also on the back end. This is a good time for the hotels to go back to the drawing board and start over. Whether it is rooms or other revenue streams that the hotels want to embark on, we need to relook into creating demand for the domestic market. Sometimes even the market don't realize what they want, and hotels are in a position to create what they think they want and create a new demand. And we can offer products and services that the market can appreciate for the current situation. Bear in mind also, this is also the first time the market is stuck in current situation, as much as the businesses are also stuck in this situation. So it's a good time to go back to the drawing board, go back to start from scratch again and look at the market differently and start strategizing differently. I think that's all I can say for the situation now.
Thank you, Mr. Yap. I think this is what we talk about, like the new norm, you know. So what I've also seen that how the hotels industry has changed is like when they have an F&B, they're doing grab food for the F&B. This is a new thing that the hotels have looked at as well, and then the hotels has also implemented. So you are completely right that we have to go deeper and look at to create a different demand for the consumers. And would like to look at also like how could the technology integration play a key role in boosting the occupancy, or how could the Malaysian hotels optimize the operations, right, and the revenue with the right technology? Mr. Yap.
Thank you. I think technology is always a hot topic, but we always misunderstand technology as in automation, IRA 4.0, a lot of huge jargons that maybe the industry does not even realize. But technology had always played an important role in hotel revenue management, including driving occupancy and rates. The hotel industry is one of the early adopters of digitalizations, but it is also somewhat slow in Malaysia. I think we need to pick up the pace, and the industry of Malaysia needs to try more options in terms of technology adoption in revenue management. While channel and rates management tech are common these days, an integrated revenue management system is not fully understood here. Many hotels still rely on manual assessments and reactive actions, losing out on potential occupancy and room rate gains. When we look at regional comparison, I think Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia is still low in terms of maximizing yield in good times. hotels in Malaysia needs to take advantage of the current situation, explore the right system for its business, and be ready for recovery. The important point here is to be ready for recovery. We are in a difficult situation, but recovery is coming. We do not want to be caught off guard that recovery comes and we are not ready. We must be ready for recovery. Latest system solutions in the market includes AI revenue management and also integrated CRM revenue management that and you can couple that with mobile app integration that includes guest services management to maximize not only your revenues but also your customer satisfaction. I think those are things that the hotel industry or even the tourism industry can look into.
Yep, it's definitely correct. Yeah. So the technology is not just only like automation, and you are absolutely right that Kuala Lumpur or Malaysia, we are still a little bit far behind in terms of like implementing a different technology. So we have to perceive that technology is a tool, not to help us, and especially what you have said that to prepare for the recovery. We got to be like proactive and not reactive. So this is something that the Malaysian hoteliers should think of, like look at the neighboring countries, how much they have prepared for the recovery, and we shall also take the example and learn from them as well. And thank you, Mr. Yap, for the insight. Next, Dr. Sri Ganesh. So just now Mr. Yap was also talking about the technology and looking at our this year 2020 budget, and the government also has encouraged the SME, so to go into digitalization era. So they have provided the grant to the SME companies to adopt it. So what are the plans and the advices from the MyBHA to assist all these like budget hotels, because they are also in the SME sector, to boost the occupancy through a different distribution and digitalization?
Yeah, I would say regarding this digitalization grant, for us, most of our hoteliers has already have a lot of systems. So the government actually needs to come out with this kind of solutions at the earlier part. However, we look forward, we have too many systems, new technology after the pandemic. I think more systems are out, more technology-based systems are out. But are we still backward, or are we going forward? So the hoteliers actually, for me, have to be go forward. So when they go forward, they should, because when it comes to technology, it's of course involve cost. So that's why there is a grant for you to apply, and implement those systems within your organization. So for us is all have to kickstart earlier, because there are a lot of property management systems, there are a lot of channel managers, this and that coming. But whether the grant recognize it, that is another question. So for the hoteliers, they need to work hard, and I think learn the technology. Because for us, what we see, what is our study is most of the hoteliers are still backward. Some of them still does not know what is a channel manager, what is PMS. They are still running using those Excel sheets, So this is something very important which we need to educate. So as an association, we keep educating the members. We want them to know all this new technology. Otherwise, there will be some third party who will take the opportunity based on the members or based on the hoteliers who does not know what is technology. So what it comes an online travel management, online travel this and that, and they come and meet you and say, now mind, you pay me 5,000 per month, I help you to handle all your online bookings, this and that. So end of the day, it's just a system. If you know the system, you can work it more easier. But some of the hoteliers are still worried on costs. You see, if you implement, if you do and use technology, of course, you need to pay a sum of money, but you will get back. You will see the income coming back. So for us, this is my view on this question.
Doctor, you are again there, right? So technology, hoteliers perceive that as a cost. In fact, technology, it is a very good tool to help the automation, to help the hotels to be proactive, to get ready for the recovery, not only the recovery, but to be in the competitive environment, right? So they need technology to help them, to give them a good data for them to analyze it, where the booking is coming from, how they need to utilize that, how they need to maximize it. So it comes to my next question, Doctor. Can you list down the right channels and the sources to accelerate the bookings and increase the revenue?
You see, if you want to ask this, there are many channels and sources to increase. It's about the knowledge from the hoteliers. You see, if you have good knowledge on technology, then you will know in your location, in your segment, what is the right channels or sources, for us to increase the booking. Because increase the booking is one, getting a better profit is one. You see, you may have a lot of bookings, a high occupancy, but your profit may be very low. So it depends. So educational on technology is very important at this point of time.
Yep, you're right. It's similar to what Mr. Yap said, so we need to go deeper. Yeah, to really understand about technology, how to use the technology and to optimize it. And then also, I have all my OTA friends are in the webinar as well, you see. So they may also be taking this kind of educational process to educate the hoteliers how to use extranet, how to optimize the selling, to bring a different level of the profit also to the hotels. Thank you very much, Doctor. And we have Sandy. Sandy will be the person that helping you to talk to you also about yield management. To use the technology coupled with how to yield your rooms, how to yield your other different revenue. So Sandy will be sharing with us. So Sandy, for the demand forecast, right, for the year 2021 to the year 2022, how will the hoteliers align their marketing and then also their distribution strategy?
Right, thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon, everyone. To your question, there will certainly be a lot of pent-up demand, we know, and travel will certainly come back stronger. But the main source of traffic will definitely be domestic largely. It would definitely be leisure as well as interstate business travel and what we call bleisure, which is combining business with leisure travel. And once the borders opened, it will then be just focused on the regional countries for a start. How sales, marketing, distribution, and revenue teams align their commercial strategy together, they have to capture whatever available demand that's out there in the market and strategize on each market segments. Question is, have you started to even develop micro segments? Because these are very different from what we used to do previously. Working very closely together, they have to look at pace, transactions, booking patterns, day of week patterns, and price elasticity to come up with the right strategy. Looking at acquisition costs is important for each and every booking because that ultimately affects the bottom line. Who in your organization as hoteliers, my friends, is looking at these transactions and analyzing them? Are you still using Excel sheets? Because by the time you do a pivot table, the booking would have gone, to your next competitor because it is really very competitive right now. Are you also thinking out of the box, not like a traditional hotel, but, using your utilization of your space? How are you tracking that demand and conversions, for local events? Do you still rely on gut feels or on science to make decisions? I mean, now is really the time for you to review those segments. It could be things like glamping, there is a big area outside your hotel. These are things that can increase further the revenues. And is your loyalty program more suited for overseas travel? Have you looked at redoing and tweaking to incentivize local travelers and adopting that leisure travel markets? So do you have the tools to answer and provide these critical answers to your stakeholders and to the owners? Revenue science is already a proven methodology. Yet, as what Mr. Yap had mentioned, and Dr. Ganesh as well, the adoption of the technology is far and few in Malaysia in the hotel business. I would assume that all of us are using smartphones, yet for the hotels, big business with revenue generating business in F&B and in rooms, a lot of things are still done manually, especially pricing. Now we have migrated from using our physical street directories to Waze or even Google Maps. And similarly to smartphones, we have migrated right now. So for your own hotel business, have you migrated to smarter technologies? And most importantly, are you relevant and efficient in today's times? And are you ready once demand picks up? So it's good to actually review your technology stack to make sure that your hotel is relevant. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Sandy. Again, right? So technology, again, big data, again, what we need to do. It's similar to what when I was in the hotel as well, when we need to do sales, right? We got to check to Google first and find out the map and all these things. But now we don't need that. The moment it's like, where is your office? Then someone will send you the WhatsApp is like the location. So this is how the technology has evolved, you see. So for the hotel industry, there will be also similar thing as well, that we don't pluck the figure from the sky like, oh, today I got to do this amount of business. But we need something to analyze it, like what Sandy mentioned. So we need to look at different angles. All right, so now we need to do a little bit of fun time, with the speakers, and this will be something that will be gathered for all these participants. So I would like to ask a couple of questions to these speaker. So perhaps that you can just give me a quick answer. All right, so the first person that I would like to ask is Sandy. Sandy, staycation or business travel in the next 6 months, where would the demand flow?
Both actually, both staycations and business travel will be very important.
You're right, both. Yeah, we cannot say like I just go for the staycations, but then the business travelers are all neglected. Yeah. So believe that also will be also changing over the period of time as well, as long as when the interstate traveling will be allowed, and then also the borders are open eventually. All right. And Dr. Ganesh, what will be the policy that will attract more booking for these next 6 months? Refundable or non-refundable policy?
You see, this is a very good question. The hoteliers are having a lot of problems, a lot of cash flow issues, this and that. They will say it could be non-refundable. But when we talk about customers, we want customers.
And Doctor, your line is not good at this moment.
We are forced. We have to online travel. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah. So we see a lot of online travel portals. When the customer book, whether is the thing refundable, the policy is refundable or non-refundable. Okay. However, when the customer requests for the payment to be refunded, that's another issue where the online travel portals will call you and ask the hoteliers, can you refund this payment? Because it's about customers. It's about you. You want the customers, you see. But that's why this policy needs to be very clear, and also the customers are also very worried at this particular time. Today maybe having a new rules, and tomorrow another rules. It can be an MCO another time. It can be a CMCO. Anything.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, definitely. So that will be like That's what I have been like listening to a lot of hoteliers.
We don't know what's going to happen
facility.
the next term. Maybe the booking is another 1 month. Yes, yeah. So this is a very serious issue where we don't know whether to give. In our policy, we sure will put 2 days non-refundable or this and that. But however, refundable is still the best based on the right issues, and we need to evaluate from different cases to different cases.
Yeah, I do understand, hoteliers, they're always looking for like non-refundable, that want the payment first. But is that what the demand is, right? So the demand is definitely not now, right, for this non-refundable.
Yeah.
So that is the refundable is the demand for the time being. All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah. And Dato Amar, so would like to ask you, what will you choose, right, if you are making a booking based on the location or based on the services? Dato?
I think his mic is
Okay.
mute.
We'll come back to you, Dato.
Yeah. Now,
So let me repeat the question. What will you
That is
choose
based
if
on
you are
location
making
or-
a booking? Based on location or based on services?
Yeah. Definitely location.
Locations. Perfect.
I would like location. Yeah. Because location, of course, that will satisfy you. That is what you want actually when talking about location. But definitely other ones will influence you to do so. Maybe that is not the right time if you were to look at the cost and other things. But there always the right time for you to go. If you are very determined on the location that you want to go.
Yeah, I think locations and services, primary, both are equally quite important as well. So this is what that we as Malaysians, so we provide the Malaysian style of the services, and then we also improve our services for different level as well. Thank you, Tato. And Mr. Yap. Mr. Yap, what is your advice to our hotel partners, reducing costs or maximizing profits?
Never too much to ask for both. And you need to do both anyway. That's the shortest answer for that.
Actually, is something like chicken and egg, right? Yeah, so you may have a egg first or you have a chicken first, so kind of thing like that. Yeah, so you are right, equally important. And Mr. Aaron, we have not touched you, reached you yet. Yeah, what will be your preference to make a hotel booking? You go to the hotel website, make a direct booking, or you prefer an OTA?
I must say, if I'm of course working in the hotel, I would go back to the direct website. But as a consumer, OTA always reach wider range of people. Whereas of course the OTA, of course the booking direct now is trying to show some visibility still in the market. But of course, we still cannot forget the OTA, because OTAs spend millions of money to go on their exposure. Yeah,
they are our friends.
Yeah, friend and husband and wife.
Yeah, husband and wife. So sometimes we quarrel, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That is correct. Yeah. But then after that, we are mashed up. Yeah. All right. And thank you very much for everyone on the rapid fire question. And would like to move on to another question also, like a lot of hoteliers would like to also look at as well. And so in the report, we are talking about like this consumer sentiment report about the pandemic gathered by the Imperial College London. So the COVID-19 behavior tracker data hub is reported that 82% who say they are very or somewhat scared that they will contract COVID. And 57% say they are avoiding any physical contact with anybody, because this is what based on the statistics. So considering the border will be open in the 6 months time, let's talk about the travel bubble. What will be the pricing strategy once the lockdown is lifted? How can we prepare? Sandy, will you be able to share the insight with us?
Oh, definitely. First thing to avoid definitely is to avoid getting into a price war and get into a panic mode, because the focus should still be on your RevPAR. Of course, right now, because there is a lot of F&B into the revenues as well, so we should also be measuring ourselves in terms of RevPAR, in terms of TRevPAR, total revenue per available room, and GOPAR, of course, which is gross operating profit per available room. Because for some hotels, the restaurant business can definitely take about 60% of the total revenue. And how do you avoid a price war? It takes a day to reduce your price, but it takes years to get it back up again. So do evaluate your business in terms of what your break-even costs are. What is the profitable room rate that is acceptable? Because it has changed right now, especially during this pandemic. You have to operate more for less right now. And of course, the rapid fire question that you asked just now, whether you cut costs, definitely you need to do both at the same time. You do need to reevaluate your market positioning and what those unique selling points are. And when you relook into your market segments, how they are behaving differently and purchasing differently, have you further segmented it into domestic families, couples, people celebrating their anniversaries, and young couples and friends? And the question to ask yourself or your team is, has there been new competitors? Because some may have closed or they have renovated. And have you reviewed your reputation scores recently? How are you being ranked against your competitors? What are the clients saying about you, and what are the clients saying about your competitors? Are you also including more value adds like your attractions or F&B offers, and partnering, very importantly, with local businesses, because they all need help, right? And we know that domestic travel will be the major source of business for us, at least in the next 6 months. And needless to say, very flexible cancellation policies. Of course, lastly, you do need to review technology stack again. It is to increase productivity. And by looking at your systems, you actually spend a lot more time on strategy, especially sales, marketing, distribution teams together, on what are the actions to take and be more proactive rather than reactive, so that you can capitalize on any missed opportunities. Now, this pandemic has brought with it massive job and revenue losses for the tourism industry. And this is something that, really hurts all of us. However, the fact is that it has also accelerated the adoption of technology, how important it is in the entire tourism business. Now, we have seen digitalization over the years and how convenient and fast it is, whether is it in the airline, the train, the ferry, or attractions. So why are hotels still relying on manual room pricing and packages, which is when that part of the business is the most important and the most profitable part of the business, that we are still going on our manual ways? Hotels do have a lot of data, and it is important that we are able to silo all this data and understand what is relevant, so that you have the confidence to bring your pricing out, whether is it directly onto your websites or onto your different distribution channels. There are thousands of decisions to be made every day. So considering in a single day, you have 10 different market segments. Out of these 10 different market segments, you have 10 rate codes each, and you have 7 room types in your hotel, different length of stay, all the different competitors. How many pricing decisions do you have to make in a day? It definitely makes sense to rely on revenue science. It is a proven formula for your revenue management strategy. I can definitely go on for another hour and deep dive into this, but I believe we need to move on to the next question. Thank you, Michelle.
Sandy, you're right, yeah. So what I can hear is about pricing strategy, big data, digitalization, technology, demand, and it's even going deeper and deeper. Yeah, I mean, when we look at the pricing strategy, right? We look at the pricing strategy or different pricing by channel. So if we go and drop the price point, like what you say, you reduce the price within seconds, but you want to increase back the price, it takes years for you to increase back to that level. And there's also a dilemma as well, you know, from the hoteliers, like, if I don't decrease, my neighbor is decreases. So what should I do, right? So this is also a big dilemma in the hotel industry. So when one reduce and then another one reduce at the same time as well. So it's quite difficult, you know. And then also we talk about a different demand or private deal or secret deal or mobile deal or last minute, you know, a different terms and conditions. We should evaluate every one of them, like what you say, you know, so many room types, so many record, so many things that to evaluate. Yeah. So basically we need to evaluate everyone but not hurting the price point. All right, thanks a lot, Sandy, for the invite. Yeah, and they will be able to reach out to you if they need to know more about it. Okay, and we have Mr. Aaron for the hoteliers, right? So from the Royal Chulan group right now. So would like to know, what are you doing with your properties now to drive like a high occupancy or conversion and capitalize your revenue opportunities for the different bookings, upselling? Would you be able to share with us your secret tips?
I think most hoteliers also be practicing this, but I believe these are the few practices that we generally do for the hotel, for myself especially. The hotels concentrate on direct sales, direct booking. Okay, implement direct booking through promoting in the different platform. Of course, we also not forgetting to upselling the experience is our key focus. How I say that is by tracking guests' habit, so that we can close better deal with them, because we can check what is their needs, what are the requirements, whether, for example, for a long stay guest, they require maybe, for example, a Colgate in the room. So hotel will go an extra mile for that to make effort for this. Then of course, not forgetting, we also do offering room upgrading at the best cost for direct booking before check-in or during check-in time. And of course, I have sister properties who I manage. Across the board, we give added value for future stay, so that we give incentivize them. And in terms of promotion, we also offer more flexible policy to guests in order to adapt to current new norm. And of course, now in terms of revenue optimization, using digitalization platform such as advanced purchase, e-voucher, dining is the D thing at this moment. And of course, not forgetting the loyalty program to the returning guests. And in terms of commercial strategy, we leverage with current CRM to drive domestic market. And of course, now with since Dr. Amar has mentioned about events, we are also focusing in terms of the MICE event, weddings and conferences across. So I think with this, tourism has helped us to do this market for us. And of course, this events that's happening in Kuala Lumpur, I hope it can be more lah, so that every hotels can benefit from it lah. That's all from myself.
Yeah, I'm sure all the hoteliers will reach out to you, you know, Aaron, how to can be more from the minds, right? From the events. Yeah. And then also equally, we are talking about like services, you see. So again, that we have this like digitalization technology. So technology is definitely a way to go for Malaysian hoteliers, and then to be able to compete also. And with all the different tips that you have shared. So before we move on to the last question for Aaron, so I give Aaron a bit of break, and let's just go on a certain post from what participants or our friends is talking about, like what should they look at. So I will come up with these two questions and would like you to give your answer in the two in the within the 1 minute time, right? Okay. Tame, I would like your help to.
Yes, Michelle, we have launched the polls. Please
All
go on.
right, thank you. Yeah. And would like to get all the participants, like, what is your top criteria when choosing a technology? So we are looking into like features, functionality is definitely the way to go when you are evaluating technology. And we see more and more like people are choosing the best technology. And to my very surprise, that stability and reliability. All right, so would like to share these results.
Michelle, if I can just add on a point to this, don't take this poll and increase your pricing from STAAH.
So yeah, we offer exclusive package to our hoteliers, you know, to our hotel friends. Yep. All right, so the good point is all the hoteliers are talking about functionality, features. Definitely STAAH will be able to assist all of you. And the next question will be, what do you consider to be your primary business priority in recovery? Generate more revenue through occupancy or expand market positioning and your ADR? Reduce your costs and expenses. That would be aligned with what we have asked about this in the rapid fire. Reduction of cost or maximizing the profit, or generate an ancillary revenue stream. I think we see all the dollar inside, and then the occupancy. Yeah, this is what everyone is looking for. Occupancy, and revenue also, of course. All right, thank you very much for that. And what you could see that the revenue through occupancy is the way to go, and then also some about like 30% that people are looking into expand the market positioning. So there will be a different ways or channels that what you can do and what you can sell in this market. All right, thank you very much for all the participation, and let's move on to the last question from Mr. Aaron. So Mr. Aaron, how can a technology help to drive revenue? Because just now you mentioned about technology, we need to use technology. How can that technology help to drive revenue, especially during this pandemic situation now, when the booking is so low, you know, when the hoteliers are complaining?
Yeah, actually, to answer you that question, during this outbreak, I think has taught us many things that we have not done before. We can change it now. For example, the implementation of technology tools. So I think on the mention of grant for SME is good initiative to move into digitalization era, which is now we are slowly, hopefully to move into. However, the hotel industry would request the grant, as this shall not be only extended to SME, but it shall be applicable to star-rated hotel. The entire hospitality industry requires the most attention from the government, considering the accommodation Actually, we are waiting for more initiative from the government to revive this industry, and the government may want to make reference with our neighboring country. Singapore, as an example, different grants provided. Just a question, Michelle. Actually, how can the government today help the hotel industry? Like our neighboring country, Singapore, they give 50% incentive. This is the question. Having said that, the tools of distribution, for example, flexible payment methods, easy rate comparison to avoid rates being undercut against the brand website, then citing over voucher. Now, of course, not forgetting STAAH. STAAH has provided us with relevant reports, data, price strategy, market segment, and value to the consumer. Then, of course, several rate plans to create and able to map to a different room category, analyze and maximize revenue and dynamic rates, and easy for all channels to be bulk update. I think this really help us a lot to analyze our strategy and to make it this technology to make it a better one for us to enhance our market segment. Yeah. So Michelle, thank you very much, and of course, I'm not asking for a lower rate lah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Aaron. And then I'm really glad to hear that you are very enjoying the technology, and then also like the system from STAAH be able to help you in terms of different pricing strategy, and then be able to help you in many other areas as well from the different reports that we have provided. Yeah, and I tend to agree with you about these questions also to this government as well. What else that the government will be able to help that our whole hospitality industry friends, you know? So this is something that we need to also be able to bring it up to the government, and we have Mr. Yap representing the Malaysia Hotel Association, and then also Dr. Ganesh as well, and then Dato' Akmal as well. I believe that they have been like in contact with the government, is talking about what else that will be able to help the hotel industry in the 4 letters again, like sustain, agile, resilient, and then also survive. All right, and thank you very much for all the questions also, and then also for all the answers that provided by our speakers. So we'd like to look at the different Q&A that we have. Let's check it out, different Q&A questions that from these hotelier friends. All right, so there will be this question. When we see the travel bubble realizing for Thailand and Singapore, how are we progressing in this area? Tato, will you be able to answer this question? Tato?
Okay. Yes. Of course, we are looking that very much because we are eager waiting for the border to be open again, and definitely there are a few as being in the pipeline, of which we are now introducing a travel bubble between Langkawi and Indonesia. So hopefully that can be done by the second quarter of this year. And in addition also, Qatar Airways is currently also in discussion with the Langkawi Development Authority, LADA, to promote Langkawi as the main destination for the international travelers. And as you know, that definitely Qatar has been very aggressively doing their promotion now. And of course, if going to London now, the British Airways now taken by Qatar in a way for the time being for the COVID. And we are working very much with them. And we are looking on the development between Langkawi and Indonesia as well for the travel bubble. This is among what we have in line for that, and definitely we are not forgetting Singapore for that. We have come up with a few programs of which we just need the right time to execute whatever activities, campaign and program that we have worked out with our office in Singapore for that. Yeah. Not forgetting our neighboring others neighboring country that goes to Brunei as well as Thailand for that.
Yep, thank you, Tato, for all the updates about this Qatar for the Langkawi, and then also the discussion with Singapore government for the travel bubble. Indeed, that we need that travel bubble is like happening.
Yeah.
And all right, thank you very much.
Yeah, of course, for China, not forgetting China for that. Yeah, that's still our main market that we are looking at. We are talking about the green lane, reciprocal lane, and the travel corridor arrangement between this country. Yeah.
Yep, certainly. This is really glad to hear all the different initiatives and the discussions also like ongoing. Yep. Thank you, Dato, for that. All right, and let's move on to like the end of the session today. And thank you very much for a wonderful session. And we hope all of you have benefited from the different initiatives to boost the bookings carried out by Tourism Malaysia, Malaysia Hotel Association, and Malaysia Budget Hotel Association, to continuously working with the various departments to take us through these difficult times. Also, and different tips and the ideas from ideas, and then also from Royal Chulan Hotels and Resorts. So in STAAH, we provide exclusive offers for the members of MA and then also MyBHA, either on Channel Manager or website engine. And of course, that is the new channel that we are talking about, the revenue channel, that is the vouchers. So a lot of hotels are looking into different vouchers of selling and then to generate immediate cash, right? And please contact us if you would like to get more information. And we will be sharing that information with all of you. And again, that our apologies for not able to address all the questions if they are, and we will send out the recording and answers to your questions. Till then, wishing all of you a very good day and stay safe. And thank you very much for Yang Berbahagia Dato' Ahmad for your wonderful time, and Mr. Yap and Dr. Sri Ganesh, Miss Sandy Wee, and Mr. Aaron Tan. So, of course, a big thank you to all of us and to all of you as well for sparing that 1 hour with us. And hopefully we will talk again. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.